Hello, everybody. Welcome back to 30 Seconds Excel Solve. We are here today on explaining a little bit what we did in live sessions, and we are going to explain that in three videos because of the quality of the video was not that perfect. I am thinking of making a couple of videos related to the lessons that we learned today regarding the live session for formatting the tables, creating the tables, and understanding the tables. So what I want to show really in this video is the first part. So let's try to understand what is a table and how to create a table in Excel. And not just that, I want to show you more on how to format the table and the ways you can do that. And also having a proper way on formatting that. Then next tomorrow we will see another video related to the format table as styles, and we will add also another video regarding the addressing, which is another part of this live session, the first session that we had. So I'm starting with the first thing that we have for today, that is what is a table. As you can see, Excel itself in this share screen is a table, a huge table with more than 1 million rows. So if I go down, you will see that in reality, these are more than 1 million rows and also more than 1,000 columns. So this is a huge table in reality. So you are seeing that, and the main unit of this table is the cell. As you can see, the cell is each square that you select or each rectangle that you select on this page. So basically, this is a cell, and the cell itself has an address, and the address is defined by the number of column or the letter of column and the number of row. So in this case, you see that the cell is J5, and you can find this address, the reference of this address here. So here it is J5. So you are okay on having the address because anywhere you can go on this page, of course, you see on this sheet, you see the address of that selected cell. Now, another thing that we have to understand is that Excel itself has a couple of parts that we should understand very well. One is the command bar. The command bar are commands which contain main tools that you can use. So like home, insert, or page layout, formulas, data, review, view, developer, and anything that you might need to add, because you can add those in the options of Excel. And now I am continuing with the second part of this interface, which is the toolbars or the ribbon of toolbars. So here it is. If I select one of these commands, then there is a list of toolbars down that command, like clipboard or font or alignment or number or styles in this home, or insert on the tables here, illustration, charts, sparklines, and etc. So basically, these are the two main used tools, really, and commands. Then we have the third part, which is the formulas part, where you put your formula. We are not going to use that very much on this video, but later on we are going to use that frequently. And the last thing is the footer, which contains the sheets itself or the tabs for your tables and for your data. So basically, I try to explain a little bit how Excel works. Now we are going to enter in details in what was the main topic for our video. And for our video, main topic was the table, how to create a table. One thing that we should understand is that a table is not just something beautiful that it represents some data. No, the table itself has a scope. The table itself is a way on using data, really, and on manipulating data, on gathering data. So there are a lot of things happening in one table. So we are in Excel. We have data in our hands. We are organizing those data in tables. And we have to know that the data in current times means power. So when you have data and you want to analyze those, and you structure the data in correct way, then you have the power to do the best things in this world that we currently live. So let's start to create the table itself. Now I'm going to explain how that works. It doesn't work directly to create an formatted table. Why? Because it's like you build a building. When you build a building, of course, what you do is you start to build one by one, brick by brick. So it takes some while to create the whole building and to paint that then later. So we have to create first, the foundation of the table. The foundation of the tables are the columns and the rows, but first of all are the columns. So we have to specify some elements for the table, and the elements are these. First is the header row. We have to input really for each column kind of a variable. Now I'm going to create a table that is related for employees. So I will create a table that is an employees table. And this is usually used on HR, human resources. So I'm going to rename this sheet 1 to employees. Here it is. As you can see, I right click on the sheet and I rename that by just clicking on rename. Or I can give even a tab color for having that defined. And here it is, employees tab. Now I'm going to create the structure, the foundation of the table. And first thing is, let me define the variables. And the variable, one thing that we should understand is that the variable itself has a variable type. Like, for example, if I'm going to pick a date, then, the variable type is a date type. So here we are. We have the first variable, which is ID. This will be kind of an auto number. And the auto number itself is something that helps because it goes one by one incremental when the number of employees changes. So this will be an integer variable type. Then I'm going to put the name, and the name is a string, a text, and then the surname, which is again a text. Then I'm going to add the full name, and then after the full name, I will add gender, birth date, and gender really will be a lookup value. Why? Because currently, universally, there are two genders, male and female, and we are going to put those as a drop down, really. So we are going to see that just from a pick down from the drop down list, really is not a manual entered value, but is a value selected from the drop down list. The full name is a calculated variable because it will come from the name and the surname itself. And the birth date is a date type. Then I'm going to add another column there, which is years of experience, which is a float number because we need this just for having all of our formatting issues because we want to format even float or single numbers. Then after years of experience, let me put position, which will be again a drop down, a list of positions. And the last thing is salary, which salary will be a currency. Now, as you can see, these headers or head of tables, these are all variables with variable types. And I am going to add one more row. For adding one more row, you have just to select this row and then right click and click insert. And you see that I have inserted. And if you want to add a column, you click on the column that you want to add, and you will see that before that, a column will be added. For deleting that, you select the whole column, right click and click delete. And now I'm going to add another row. Why? Because I want to add a title to my table. So here I am. I am here and I want to create a title. And the title for me is on this cell A1 employees. So right now I have a structure itself. But I had not any data on my table because I need to complete that manually first. And of course, that I have to enter some data there. So for ID, I will pick 1, 2, and 3. And for the name, I will put John. First name is Fisher. And for the full name, because it is a calculated variable, I am taking in consideration the variable types. As you can see, here is an integer, here is a string. Now I'm going to add a calculated variable, and I will use a simple formula here. I will not explain that now because our intention is not to explain that. So here it is, equal this name and a space and the surname. So this is a calculated variable. I do not write anything there. Then I have the gender. And the gender, I told you that this is a dropdown. Now the dropdown, for creating the dropdown or the lookup value, you have to go to data and then go to data validation. And here it is, the data validation. You put there a list. And on the list, we are not going to explain all of the data validation options. We are going just to explain this list one. And you create the list, male, comma, female. And now you can see that I have male and female there. So I pick male there. And for birth date, I will pick a date in reality. In my computer, regional settings are set that month is first. So let's suppose that the date was February 24th, 2000, not 2000, 2000. So this was the date of this employee, John Fisher, is a young one. For increasing the width of the columns, you have just to go in those borders of the columns where this crossbar changes shape to 2 arrows. And you double click on that and you see that it goes, it wraps through all the column. Now, anything here is not formatted. We are still not on the formatting of the table. We are creating the structure first. We are creating a foundation first. Years of experience is a number which is a float number or a double number. So here it is a 12.5, and the position is again a list. For going to the list, you have to go to data validation, and then create a list. And on the list, I will put a couple of positions like data manager, or another one, accountant, or IT specialist. So I have now 3 positions and I can pick one of those. Let's suppose that this is data manager. I see again that this data manager is overpassing column H, is going to column I, and I want that to not to happen. And really, I have to double click on the border of this column for having that wrapped on my column. And the salary is 1,000, let's suppose, dollars for this person. Now, this was the first record entered on this table, which is not the last one because I have more. So if I want to add another one, then I have to add the second number. Now, this second number will contain the second record, and the second record is another name. Let's put my name there, Martin Tutu. Now, I have to use, because this is a formula, I have to use the dragging options. So I can go down right of the cell, and you see that the shape of the crossbar of the mouse pointer changes from a white cross to a black cross, a thin cross. So I drag it down, and you see that now the formula is split, is a drag down, is the same formula. The only thing that changed is the row. As I explained, the letter is a column, the number is a row. So you can see that itself, the column didn't change, but the row changed. Now, again, for gender, because we created the drop down, we don't want to create that again. We have just to drag also this down. And when you drag this down, you have an opportunity again. So it's the same as you were going to create it, the list. And I'm going to do that even on the position And here it is. And this is not anymore data manager, let's put, this is an IT specialist. And the birth date is 4th 20 1986. And the years of experience is 10.5. And the salary, let's suppose that is $800. The first third record that I'm going to enter, let's put a female there. So it's Sarah, let's suppose, and Sarah Presley, the surname. Now, again, for having these calculated variables, I have to drag because this is another formula, and I have that correct. I drag also the drop downs on gender and position, and I change this from male to female and from IT specialist to accountant. Now, this is the date 1/1/1982, let's suppose, and these years of experience is, let's suppose that is 15.4. And the salary is, let's put $1,200. So here it is. Now we have the foundation. Now we have the table in place. But one thing that we should understand is this is not yet finished. Why? Because we want that to be formatted. Anyway, even if you don't format that, you have the opportunity to manipulate through the data now that the data are in place. One good thing on tables like this is that you don't see birth dates or date types on other variables, and you don't see any numbers on other tables. You have to be cautious when putting your information on your tables. I am talking without using the data validation because the data validation, we will explain in another video, that can create some conditions or some criteria for the data that should be inputted on the table. But we are on a simple state here. We are creating just a table. So here it is, the foundation. Here it is, the table. Now let's format it. And the formatting, we will explain that as much easier as we can. So the formatting starts with making everything look different from what it is right now. So we are going, first thing to do is we are going to apply the same white for all columns. For doing that, we select all columns. Here it is. And now through this crossbar that you can pick on one of the borders of columns, we drag. And when you drag, you can see that all of the columns take the same white. Now, of course, some of those are hidden, like these years of experience, which is not full shown there. How to do this, that if you overpass the white of the column, you can go to another line. For doing that, you have to go to home, select this variable, go to home, and then click on wrap text. And as you can see now, that's in 2 lines. And now, because I have this opportunity, I can change the white to something more beautiful than what it was in the beginning. I will add more, and here it is. We are on the position really to have all of those in quite the same wide range. Now the second thing is I want all of the variables to be aligned on the middle, and for aligning on the middle we have to select everything that is in our table, and we can use the toolbar by going on the line options. And because we have 2 lines, it's not just the option on middle line, but you need also a center line, because you want that these variables like birthday does not go just in the middle. If I click that here, it goes in the middle, but if I go here, both of those, it center the data itself. So this is the first way how you can do that. The second way, I will undo this just for showing you, is by right-clicking, go to Format Cells and go to Alignment. And now when you create that alignment, then you can pick on the horizontal center across selection, and on the vertical you pick center, and now you click OK, which is the same thing that we did. Now we have a header row, and on that header row we have to make a couple of changes. And the first thing that we are going to do is make a couple of changes on that header row. But before starting on that, we are going to add some borders to our table. And for adding borders, what we are going to do is we are going to select all the table and then create through or select the proper border for this table. And we are going to select from home, and we have all borders. And here it is. This is the first way. And the second way is you go from format cells and go to border. And now you can pick your borders here as you want, and you click OK. And as you can see, now my table is going to look different. It's like I'm adding iron to my building, and I'm putting there cement and things like this. Now the shape of the table is changing. So we are on the headers and on the variables names, let's say header names. So we are going to change this. For changing that, we can use always the toolbar, like changing the format, changing the numbers, the text, changing the shape, the bold, italic, or something else, like underlined. So the colors of the shape of the field, and also the color of the text. So we are going to apply a couple of those. You can use the home, or you can use format cells, right click and click format cells, and you have font here. And for example, we are going to put the font white later, but we will see that together. First thing that we are going to do is fill this with a color. And for filling that with a color, we are using this toolbar here, which is the theme color, or we can go to format cells and we have the fill option here, and we put the same thing. And now I'm going to change the shape, the color of the text. And for doing that, I will do this way. You go to font and you change the color to white, let's suppose. And here it is. Or you can pick even here to white, and it's the same thing. Now I will make those bold. And for making those bold, you click just on the bold, and or click on format cells, and you have the field there, the font there, and you have the bold options. So you have a lot of options here, so you can see even on preview how it looks. So here we are. We have explained very well, and we are seeing the same now colors in our table, and it looks beautiful, but not yet finished. Why? Because we want to format that more and more. Now, this title here is just in one cell. We don't want that just in one cell. We want that to be spread through a column A to I. And for doing that, we have to merge all of these variables. How to merge these columns really with each other and having just one column? For doing that, we are going just to right click. I'm going to use this method, because we always have two methods. One is using the toolbars, and the second is using the right click format cells. And we are going to go to alignment, and then you have an option there called merge cells. And here it is. Now you merge the cells. I will align those in the middle. And after aligning those in the middle, I will increase the size of those. As you can see, I can use these size bars here, or I can use the size of text. So after doing that, I will pick also another color for the field and change the border for this, which is a little bit wider than what it was in the beginning, and made that bold. As you can see, I applied a couple of techniques on making this title look different from what it was in the beginning. So as you can see, it is now a title. The next thing that I want to do is the first column. I want to change that by filling that with another color, and let pick this as another color. And now it looks like I'm close to having this table formatted, but there are a couple of things left there. I do not have any problem with the text because those looks formatted, but I have a problem with the salary, for example, or the birth date. format. For example, I want to change the birthday format from this way to another way. And for doing that, I right click, go to format cells, and I have the numbers there. So on the numbers, I have many types of numbers like general or number or currency or accounting date. But because this is a date variable, I'm going to go to date. And when you go to date, you can select any type based on location. So I pick the location English, and these are the types under English dates. So I can pick this, and you can see that my birthday changed to this. But I can pick even a custom format. You can go to custom and change this format on the type by putting your preferred format. For example, let's put month, and year. Here it is. And if I close, I click OK, you can see that now it changed based on my custom uh, type. So I will pick this one that I selected previously. For years of experience, I have the opportunity to go to format cells, right click format cells, and now I can use the number. And the number I can decrease the decimal places. This can be found on the numbers here, so you can change, but not all of the formats are here. But you can change the decimal places by just clicking on one of those percentages here after the percentage. Then I have the salary, which is a currency, and I want to change the currency. And for changing the currency, what I have to do is just right clicking there, go to format cells, and now I have to go to currency. And I have here a lot of symbols. So you can pick the one that you want. I'm going to pick dollars because I know that it's dollar, and I'm going to pick the one decimal places. And here it is. We are okay. So the salary is there. Everything looks formatted. The only thing that is left is make these records here a little bit smaller. So let's put that 10, and now it looks better. So the last thing for having this table finalized is creating a total. So basically, we are going even to make some analysis on this table. And for making a total, we can create that manually. I'm not going to explain subtotals on this case. I'm just going to use total. So let's write there total. And now all of these variables here, I don't want to count those, but I will count the positions really. So let me put a formula, which I will explain later, but let me do that. Count A. Count A is a function that counts all of the text, really. Count tax, all of the text. The count itself, without that A, it counts just the numbers. So in that case, will not work here, but I will explain later this kind of function. So count A and the values, I will select this array here. So here it is, and number is 3. And I will make a sum for the salary, and here it is, the sum itself. And so these are the two main, let's say, calculations, analysis for our case, for our table. What I will do is merging this total for columns A to G. So click on merge, and then put these borders. And now I'm going to put borders also on these two and make those centered. Anything is centered. And I will color this last row, which is the total row, with another color, which in my option is a green color. Click bold, and looks that I'm close to having my table finalized. Last thing that I have to do is making these borders of this table a little bit more notable. For doing that, I will go to Format Cells, and now I will go to Border, and I will change a little bit the color of those borders, and I will pick, let's suppose that I will pick this blue, and the white is this one here. So I will change just by clicking on the borders that I want to change, and I click OK, and now you can see that my borders changed a little bit. I will change also these borders here to be the same. So go Format Cells again, and just pick here and you click OK. Now you see that my borders became blue. So basically, this is how to create a table and how to format a table. Now, later on, tomorrow, we will see other techniques that we have explained in our live session, but we are going to do that step by step. Hope you understood this, and I'm glad to hear any comments from you if you have. And your questions are appreciated. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow the Facebook page. Excel Soul, 30 Seconds Excel Soul. And I'm suggesting also to subscribe on YouTube videos because we want to add more and more videos now and on. So thanks for watching again. I'm wishing you the best and have a good night. Bye.